Hi, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. This is Renee, and welcome to our little piece of heaven, as we like to say. It's on 8 acres, or almost 8 acres actually, in the thumb of Michigan. Hi, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. And if you haven't been here before, thank you for stopping. And if you're one of my subscribers, I so appreciate you. If you like this video, push like, and it just helps with everything with YouTube. Thank you so much. My last video was about canning and the 5 things I like and didn't like, and it got a great response, and I'm so thankful for everyone. So what today I'm doing is, I said I was going to do videos on like baking and cooking because I love cooking from scratch. And I have this Ziploc bag that is recipes that I have gathered over the years. My mom wrote me some when I first got married back in the 80s, and they're family recipes and kind of old because I'm getting older there, and vintage recipes. So I thought I'd grab out some of those and cook them and bake them. So the first one I'm doing is my Grandma Lavern, my mom's mom, banana cake recipe. And as you can tell, it's been used a lot. And it's in my mom's handwriting, and she gave it to me when I first got married and moved to California many years ago. And this recipe is one that my grandma used to always make. It's a banana cake that does not rise real high, but it tastes great. But what grandma did most often with it is she made banana cupcakes, and she'd put chocolate chips in them, and she'd make the top crunchy by sprinkling a little sugar before she put them in the oven. And these were a family favorite and always the first thing to go at any gathering that we would have. So I am going to make mine that way today. I'm going to make cupcakes instead of a cake. One of the interesting things in this recipe is it calls for spry. So that tells you how old it is. Spry was a company like Crisco, and it was their biggest competitor, and they kind of stopped marketing back in the 50s, and the business died then. So Crisco is the same thing. So it calls for a 1/2 cup of spry, and I use a 1/2 cup of Crisco. I think I've used margarine in the past. I'm not sure if I've ever used butter, but when I make this, I usually try to follow Grandma's recipe and go out and get some Crisco because I don't always have it in the house. So we'll get started, and thank you for being here today. Okay, this recipe, which I will post down below, starts with 1 cup of white sugar and a 1/2 cup of spry that we're going to cream. So here's the 1 cup of sugar and the 1/2 cup of spry. Crisco. You can buy Crisco in, looks like butter, which makes it easier to measure. You can just cut it off, but I just buy the container and measure it. So we're going to start by creaming these items and getting them well incorporated and blended together. Cream together now. The next thing we do is we add 1 egg. I'm using up some store-bought eggs that I bought when my chickens weren't producing. So I use those for baking because we love to eat the farm eggs, our chickens' eggs, just as eggs. And pretty soon I won't have to buy any from the store. We also add the bananas now. It's 1 cup of mashed bananas. That was 2 bananas for me. And you want them to be really dark and spotty because that gives you the best banana flavor. So, and if you have bananas that are sitting there and getting overripe, all you have to do is peel them and put them in a Ziploc bag, a freezer bag, and store them in your freezer. I sometimes mash it and pre-measure it, so it's all I gotta do is grab it out and thaw it for this recipe or any other recipe. So we'll add the bananas now. We also add right now 3 tablespoons of milk. And now we mix this together. Okay, now we add the dry ingredients, which is 1.5 cups of flour. I have it pre-measured out here. I will add that in. And it is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I have that here. We'll add that. And a pinch of baking powder. So I just do a pinch. Let me rinse my hands off. Okay, now we will mix this. So that is actually all the mixing that this recipe takes. It's a pretty quick recipe, basically almost as quick as a mix, but with a lot more flavor. Forgot to get the chocolate chips out. You can use mini or regular. These are going all over. I have just under 2/3 of a cup. I'm going to start with that. I don't want it to be just chocolate, but you do want quite a bit of chocolate flavor in it, so you want some in every cupcake. And that looks like that will be enough. I have the oven already preheated to 350. And I'm just gonna I have cupcake liners in the cupcake pan. I need to get a new cupcake scooper. I was at an event yesterday and saw a Pampered Chef, and then we started talking and I ordered other things and not that, and I should have. We want to fill the cups 1/2 to 3/4 full. Since this recipe doesn't rise a lot, I'll use a smaller spoon, that will be easier. These won't be a cupcake that rises with a big crown. If you want more chocolate flavor, you can add more. We have made this with walnuts in it too. But this is our family favorite way. My grandma would be over 100 years old now. She came from Canada. 3 of my grandparents came from Canada. And it was always fun getting together with the extended family. There was quite a few of them that came over in the late 20s, early 30s from Canada because the economy was better over here. And there was more opportunity. My grandparents met over here, but they were both from Canada. My Grandpa Lavern was from north of Brayside. North of Ottawa and Brayside, a small logging community. I've never been there. And Grandma was, I think it was St. Thomas that she was from. And there was quite a few of their friends that came over at the same time, so they would always get together and have great gatherings. I have a lot of really good memories from growing up and having that side of the family. And my grandma, like everyone's grandma, was a really great cook. We loved everything she made. Except Grandpa made better French toast. When we would spend the night there, Grandpa would always have to make the French toast. I have enough for a couple more cupcakes, so I'll do those afterwards. Grab another spoon out. I'm gonna kind of smooth the tops of these. It's a pretty thick batter, so you can't just, it won't just like settle on its own, but I kind of want to have a smoother surface to put the sugar on. That one cupcake needs a little bit more. Okay, so I have a little container of sugar here. Just granulated white sugar, and you just, that one has a little too much. Just sprinkle across the top. Okay, and that should be enough. And then these will go in the oven. And there's not even a time on this recipe, so we just always kind of go by when they're ready. I'm gonna put them in for, put the timer for 15 minutes to start off with, and I'll see where it goes from there. And I'll come back when I take them out and show you what they look like. Well, they're out now. It took 23 minutes for them to be done. So the toothpick inserted into the middle came out clean except for melted chocolate. Don't forget, the chocolate will be melted. And if you, let me show you, see the crinkly top? It's all crunchy from the sugar. This was the one that I put a little excess on. If you shake that over the sink, the excess usually will fall off. But this is how we have them. They have been a family favorite for 4 generations now. And here's the inside. They're really good, I think, when the chocolate chips get hard again, when they, when they totally come back from being warm and they're not melty anymore. The top's crunchy. And they're just something that our family has liked. This is Grandma Lavern's banana cake recipe made into cupcakes like she always did. And I'll post the recipe down below. And once again, if you like this video, if you could push the like button, and if you want to subscribe to see more videos on cooking and canning and baking, please do. And thank you very much.